There's no place like South Australia when it comes to wine, and the boys behind web series Plonk have finally figured it out. Our iconic wine regions are the stars of the second series of the satirical comedy, which takes a slightly offbeat look at the wine industry in South Australia. The mockumentary is essentially about the making of the world's worst wine show, taking the mickey out of the industry and its idiosyncrasies. But the warmth and generosity of South Australia's wine and hospitality industry is what shines through. You've been travelling across South Australia for how long filming?
About 8 weeks.
About 8 weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
And what areas have you travelled to?
There was the airport, and then there was the road just out of the airport.
The airport hotel, we spent about 6 weeks shooting at.
The Mantra. Just the Mantra.
They've got a lot of interesting wine in the minibars there,
yeah.
so we just sort of did 3 episodes about that, was it?
Yep. Yeah, 3 episodes.
It was a big bill. It was a huge bill.
I can't believe how expensive those M&Ms are.
Yeah.
And then on the last day of filming, we went to Barossa, Clare Valley, Coonawarra, McLaren Valley, Adelaide Hills.
Okay, and who did you get to visit there?
Just mostly eccentrics. I don't know.
Yeah, sort of winos and homeless, sort of alcoholics a lot. Who did we...
That was just Yalumba.
Obviously, South Australia is known for some of the most iconic wineries in Australia.
Indeed.
Have you got any particular memories that are particularly favourable or not so favourable, perhaps about the places and the people you've met?
Most surprising winery?
Oh, Anton.
Oh,
Anton
Lucy
von Popper. He's a natural winemaker in the Adelaide Hills, and he's kind of like visiting somebody on the set of Deliverance or something. But his wine was actually very nice, but very unconventional winemaker. And his shed was like a sort of abstract piece of art, which is where he makes his wine.
Yeah, it's beautiful. One of the surprises and interesting parts of it all for us was, I think a lot of people know sort of outside of South Australia the big iconic wineries, but we did meet some of the sort of the new generation, and Anton was certainly one of them. Tom Schonbrook in Barossa, Taras in Adelaide Hills, Taras from Makota Barrels, and that was a really interesting side of it for me, just from a drinking point of view, to sort of see how well Australia's catching up with the natural wine movement that France has sort of been at the forefront of for a few years. So it's and their characters, and they're much more conversational and down to earth and laconic than some of the old guard. They kind of just, they're
very
booze
punk.
because they like drinking it.
Punk
Very
rockers.
punk.
Yeah.
But I will say what surprised me is obviously the sort of new wave of organic winemakers, but a lot of the established wineries too that you would maybe write off as being sort of generic and you can get them anywhere. People like Yalumba and Seppeltsfield and Darrenberg, big iconic brands, they don't need my love. I couldn't believe the quality of wine that they have at their cellar door. Just an incredible range of beautiful stuff and all that Roussanne and Yalumba and the Viognier.
Yeah.
Yes. I had what was a 100-year-old porter in Seppeltsfield.
I was just
At my birthday.
Oh, your birthday. Yeah.
1987.
The one big argument that's always continuing in South Australia is which wine region is the best.
You think we're going to weigh into that?
I do.
We love all that.
Well, the airport was pretty hard to beat, wasn't it? I mean, just for diversity of what they're producing out there. Extraordinary. No, I don't think there's any advantage in weighing into that. I guess
Tailem Bend, I thought probably it had it all. The food, the wine, the culture, the highway.
The hot chips.
The hot chips at Tailem Bend. Yeah. I
Chico rolls.
Yeah. Coonawarra, I thought, embraced us in such a way that we'd never experienced before, I thought. Because they were just so desperately wanting someone to show up and film with them. Coonawarra really opened their arms.
we went to the rodeo.
Oh, yeah.
There was a rodeo night.
He stage dived.
I did. There was a fantastic band called Rock and Roll Sandwich that played after the rodeo. And they just played covers, but they played them really well. They're actually a very tight band. And me and some of the crew got a little bit loose and got up on stage and, stage dived into a crowd of about 2 people, which I don't recommend. If you get a stage dive, make sure there's people to catch you. It's much better.
Yeah.
But
the Cowboys were giving us some very strange looks. Very, very fish out of water. at the rodeo.
These boys aren't from around here. What Nathan said about Coonawarra, I echo it from everywhere we went. The hospitality in the wine industry was extraordinary. People always opening their doors and filling our glasses and feeding us, and I think that's sort of true of the wine industry on the whole in Australia, but it was doubly true of South Australia. They really did go that extra yard. So it was a very pleasant shoot. Yeah, it was fun.
Fantastic. And will we be seeing you back anytime soon?
Oh God, no! Are you kidding? She's place is a dump.
We'll be back in June.
Yes, we'll be back in June. Oh, I'm not. I mentioned it was a dump, right?